It's one of the easiest industries to give up in. My first deal went so bad because I didn't understand contracts and I didn't understand all the terms and so on. And I really put my client in a bad position. And so I paid my client's earnest money with no money that I had because I was like, oh my God, like this is real.
Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, the podcast for women building their dreams while balancing work, family, and all the things. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, a wife, mom, marketer, and your side hustling friend here to teach you how to grow a brand that works for you and not the other way around. Whether you're a side hustling pro or just starting out, this is your safe place for real talk, actionable strategies, and the encouragement you need to keep going. We're here to help you make progress and not perfection. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's build your dream one step at a time. Hello, and welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast. I'm so excited to have each and every one of you here tuning into this podcast episode and all of the episodes that have came beforehand. I appreciate each and every one of your reviews, your comments, your love, your support. And I'm just so excited because it just really pushes me to continue to press on and bring valuable content to you guys. And so thank you. If this is your first time tuning in, I don't take it for granted. Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, and we are side hustlers here. All we do is hustle. But no, this is a space for us to talk about real conversations for the people that have full-time jobs but are also juggling full-time businesses on the side. Here we talk about marketing, content creation, productivity, work-life balance, and all of the things in between. Now, today's episode is super exciting because I have brought on a friend to talk about her journey from side hustling to full-time entrepreneurship. And I feel like if you are a side hustler that has the desire to eventually pursue full-time entrepreneurship, this is an amazing episode for you to get some inspiration because Chelsea is sharing her story on how she started her business, but then also how she jumped into full-time entrepreneurship. Chelsea started out working in HR at a tech company, helping to create people-centered workplaces. But like so many of us, she had a bigger vision for herself, and that led her to take the leap into full-time entrepreneurship. Now she's thriving as a commercial real estate agent who helps businesses and individuals secure ideal spaces for their businesses. And as if that weren't enough, she's also the co-founder of Bloom, which is a faith-based social club that fosters meaningful connections rooted in faith and empowerment. But here is where it gets better because Chelsea didn't stop at just building a business. She's been able to scale her company, build a team, and position herself for even bigger and better opportunities. She's currently a full-time second-year law student preparing to expand her impact in contract law, real estate, and wealth building education, all while keeping faith at the center of her journey. In this episode, Chelsea is giving us the real behind-the-scenes story on how she made the shift from side hustle to full-time business owner. And we're talking about how she got started, how she found her clients, how she built and scaled a team, and how she was able to focus on her next big move. And at the end, Chelsea also drops some amazing advice for women who are ready to take their side hustle to the next level. So this conversation is about to get real, transparent, and full of wisdom. So grab your notebook and let's get into this episode. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to tell you about a free resource I created just for you. Have you ever found yourself stuck on what to post or struggling to stay consistent on social media? I've been there, and that's exactly why I created this free guide called 30 Days of Done-For-You Social Media Prompts for Personal Brands. This guide is loaded with prompts to get your gears turning so you can have a gallery of content to create for your brand and never stress about what to post again. And you can grab it right now at cdcreativecoagency.com/content and start creating content that connects without the stress. Hello, Chelsea. Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm just go ahead and let everybody know this is our second time recording this because technical difficulties here. So Chelsea is so patient with me. Thank you. So even though we're starting over and recording this for the second time, Welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast.
Yes, we're here. We made it. We did not give up.
Yes. So like I was saying before, me and Chelsea, we met a couple months ago. I actually had a content event for the holidays, and I ran a giveaway on my page, and Chelsea actually won the giveaway for a free spot at the event. And so we were talking earlier before we started recording how God orders your steps and puts you in places where you need to be. And so it was literally so dope that I was able to cross paths with you, because here we are now. This is absolutely
yes. And I wanted to kudos because it is very hard to have an idea and bring it to execution and then be consistent after execution. Because I have a mentor and we talk about this all the time. Like, we love the fun part. The fun part is from start to execution.
Yeah.
The fun part is like that consistency, that mundane in the middle, like what's next, what's this, what's that. But it's that staying the course, staying consistent and so on like that. So
yes,
just to be consistent is a challenge, but it is a win for you because you haven't been consistent. I look for your stories every day. I look for the squiggly lines and the stuff, all the templates. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, what is so kudos to you, because it is not an easy feat. Just to start, execute, and then be consistent. So
no, you're absolutely right. I feel like that's one of the things that I've told myself I wanted to be more disciplined with this year, is like really embracing the in-between phase. I feel like a lot of people, it's easy to start, and when you start, you're automatically thinking about the end, but you don't think about the in-between. And then in the in-between is where the story like nurtures and matures, and you have to stay the course. So I appreciate that, because every day I remind myself, like, even going to the gym, posting content, showing up on the podcast, like, it's really hard to stay consistent after the excitement has faded.
Yes, and it's not exciting anymore.
Yeah. Or even when you have like new responsibilities that you're adding to your plate, like, it's completely different. So I appreciate that. Well, I wanted to bring you on the podcast because I just truly believe you have a very inspiring story. I think when people think about entrepreneurship, they automatically go to like full-time entrepreneurship, but they don't really understand what it takes or what you have to go through in order for you to get to that place. And so I think it's important for us to be able to walk through your journey so our listeners can see themselves in your journey. Maybe they're not doing real estate, but they do have an idea that they really want to hone in on, but they're also in this place of where they're working a full-time job or even in school like you, in order to figure out how to get from point A to point B. So I want you to take us back to the beginning of where it all started. Before you were this amazing commercial real estate agent, before you had your community, before you went to law school, take us back to where it first began.
Yes. So my dad was an entrepreneur. My parents both worked in the financial industry. That's how they met. And so many years into his career, because my dad is 10 years my mom's senior. So he was pretty established in his career when they met and so on, and they got married and they had kids. And I would say, like, in the lower years of elementary school for me, my dad branched out on his own and started his own mortgage company. And so through that, I was always like, we're gonna have a one-stop shop. We're gonna do a mortgage company. I'm gonna be a realtor. I'm gonna do all of that. But I saw the benefit of having a partner who supports you and who, like, my mom is not an entrepreneur. She's like, I like my consistency. I like my stability. I like my 9-to-5 check. And so my dad was like, hey, can't nobody tell me what I can and can't do. And I'm more like that. I have a balance. I understand the importance of stability, but I'm like, can't nobody keep telling me what I can and can't do. So my mom, back when the financial industry, they used to give licenses. So they gave my mom a broker license for mortgages. And it wasn't as extenuating as it is now. Like, a lot of things were a lot more lax. And so with that, they started this company, and my dad ran the company, but my mom held the licensing. My mom was the primary earner, the stability, like her checks came consistently. She got insurance for us, all the things. And my dad did well for himself. But, in entrepreneurship, especially in this sales world, you can have an amazing month, you can have an amazing quarter, and then like you don't do anything for a quarter.
Absolutely.
And so just understanding that, they worked really well together and showed me the importance of collaboration. So life happened and my dad closed his company, And so from that, I was supposed to get my license when I was 18 because, like, you get 18, I'm gonna do this, I don't know, whatever. I went to school, went to college, got a job, all the boring stuff.
Yes.
Prior to getting my license, I was laid off twice. And so in the midst of my second layoff, that's when I got confirmation, like, let's do real estate. Before my layoff, I worked for Stanley Black & Decker. I was a sales rep of over a territory, like from League City to Pearland to Corpus Christi, and I managed our marketing in all of the Home Depots. And so in those spaces, I was like, I'm tired of going up on ladders. I'm tired of all these power tools. I'm really not a manual labor. Like, it was a lot of things. I was really figuring out my life. Like, this ain't that. So with that, I started to get my real estate license in the evening. So I would work a regular 9 to 5 or so on. And Champions, which is a real estate school I swear by, they had classes from 6 to 9, 4 days a week. So I would go there, and it took me about 6 months to finish. It's a 6-week program, but it took me about 6 months just with my schedule and class by class and so on like that. And so when I was really like, Lord, like, I got this license and all that, what do you want me to do? I said, if you want me to do real estate, have them fire me. And they fired me. And when I said that same day, my boss called me and she was like, we need to talk. And I was like, talk about what? And we had a company car. So I was like, if you're gonna fire me, you need to let me know so I can make proper arrangements. I was real spicy. I had a really good package at the time. And then I just started real estate. And by the grace of God, I think in that time, like, I had left my apartment, moved back in with my mom. So, like, it was a lot of things that worked in my favor because when starting in real estate, it costs a lot more money than you're bringing in.
Yeah.
And, like, it was just very much like, it was a divine appointment and all of that.
Yeah.
Even more so, I ended up back working because it took me a long time to get that check.
No,
so.
1,000%. And my mom actually went to Champions Real Estate School. And when she was going through real estate school, she decided to quit her job. And this was one of the reasons why I was just like, oh no, like, I could never be an entrepreneur. Absolutely not. Because she went full-fledged, full-time entrepreneurship of real estate. But I would see the inconsistency. Like, sometimes she would have 2 closings a month and we're like, we're going to Papa Do's. Like, but then, like, when the next one didn't come for like 6, 7 months down the line, so even seeing that inconsistency as a kid, I was just like, absolutely not, God. Like, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to have my job and I'm going to get my consistent check and, everything's going to be good and I'm going to have this good life. And God was just like, absolutely not. You actually are going to be an entrepreneur. And I'm just like, literally mind blown. Okay. So I commend you 1,000% because even seeing my mom as a single mom go through that, I know it wasn't easy. Because even her, like, having kids, while she was, working her job, she was working at a law firm, and she was doing business law as a paralegal. And then after that, she would, pick us up from school, get us ready, and then, log into the computer and doing all her. So it is a grind. But at the end of the day, whenever you want it and you know that you are called to do something, like by any means necessary, you'll do what you have to do to get it done. So I commend you because that is no joke.
It's no joke, and it's one of the easiest industries to give up in because, like, I think my first year or my second year, I really think it was my first year, but I don't recall. My first deal went so bad because I didn't understand contracts and I didn't understand all the terms and so on, and I really put my client in a bad position. And so I paid my client's earnest money with no money that I had because I was like, oh my God, like, this is real. Like, I mean, you just never know. And so I felt so bad. So really my first deal or my first year in real estate was like negative.
And that's a message within itself because when you first get started, like you think about all of this money, the possibilities, but then you make your money, but then you have this deduction and this deduction and this, and then like you may have brought in some money, but them expenses definitely outweigh the income.
Our expenses are due at the first of the year, really in October, but December at the latest. We paying our dues, our annual dues. We paying quarterly dues. We paying monthly fees. I mean, the list goes on, and depending if you with a brokerage, you got fees. Like, it's costly.
That is a lot. That is a lot. What is one of the biggest fears that you had or challenges that you faced when you were working your job in school to then getting laid off and now you're in this place of full-time entrepreneurship, figuring it out?
Well, my biggest fear was insurance and the money. When I first started, I was still on my mom's insurance. I was probably 24, 25. And so I was like, oh my gosh, if something happens, because I'm the person, my mom has raised this, if something's wrong, go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm going to the doctor. I use my insurance.
1000%.
So I was very fearful of like, oh my gosh, if I do this, like, what am I going to do? And then the money, because it costs like, for my first few years, every Christmas, I asked my mom to pay my dues because like, I was like, I know I might not make no money, or I might make 2 or 3 checks, and they might be a lot before a span of a year. It's not nothing. So I would like, it was always the money for me. And I would pay like maybe for 4 years, my first 4 years, my mom paid my dues for Christmas, or my family collectively paid my dues for Christmas. Like that was my Christmas present.
Oh, that's right. So if anybody is listening, you're starting a business, you need to tell your family to invest in your business.
Hello, like my birthday is coming up. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And so my first year, whenever I got that revelation, whenever I quit, I said, Lord, you want me to do real estate? Maybe about 8 months, I said, baby, I can't do this. So I got a job.
Respectfully. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt really good about the content you're putting out? Are you tired of scrambling to post, feeling like you're never ahead, or just unsure on how to show up online consistently? Now, if you're nodding your head, I want you to listen up, because my content intensive package was made just for you. Here's the deal. In just one day, we'll create 1 to 2 months worth of high quality, impactful content that will have your brand showing up consistently and professionally. This isn't just some cute little photo shoot. No, ma'am. This is a full-blown, done-for-you content experience that includes everything you need to elevate your brand and connect with your audience. Oh, and did I mention this is an all-inclusive experience? Because yes, girl, we're getting it all done in one go. Whether you're launching something new, building a personal brand, or scaling your business, this package is everything you need to show up online without the stress. And I want to help you do it. So let's talk about it. Head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/contact to book your free discovery call. I want to learn everything about you, your brand, your goals, and how we can make this happen for you. You don't need to keep struggling to figure out what to post. Let's get your content done in one day so you can focus on growing your business. Now let's get back to the show.
I was there for 5 years, up until 2023.
Wow.
And then I went into law school. That was another moment of like, Lord, what do you want me to do? And it was like, go to law school. I was like, he don't want me to go to law school. So I applied and I got in. And I applied like in a week. Like I didn't do any of the formalities of what people do. I just applied. I submitted my letters of recommendation. And I was like, I'm not getting in. And I got in. And I was like, oh, okay. And before I left, it was like I got married within that time. I've been married for going on 3 years, and I was with my husband. We've been together for 5 years now. But we had to have the conversations, and there are responsibilities like pay my debt off, or just different things that we talked about, building a budget, working together with our finances, and so on. Where he was like, you can jump, like you can do it, and you'll be fine. And the year when I decided to leave my job, I was able to match my income. And so I was like, okay, I can do this. Like I did it without any marketing or any, like, this is natural. I'm a referral, like word of mouth realtor. My last year, I did good. I did make 6 figures last year, but I was in law school. It was very different. It was a whole different beast. And I would say this, I was looking at my finances last week because I felt like, I didn't do good last year. I was like, I did deals. But I looked at all my numbers and I was like, oh my gosh, I still made 6 figures. Now, the money was a little bit different. Because when you're going from getting a monthly or bi-weekly check and commission, you kind of see your money like,
For sure.
I was living still off of a 2-person income last year with my husband paying the bills, and the money didn't seem like it was there.
I feel that because I literally was talking about this on my story, how I was going through like my annual reports, and I'm literally looking at the money that I made for my business. I'm like, I actually did pretty good.
Yeah.
Where is this money at?
Where is it? Like,
So yeah, I get it. But honestly, if I'm being for real, I probably won't quit my job. Like, I think I just like I like the consistency, but I also feel like I'm probably not meant to be a full-time entrepreneur.
And I think a lot of people feel like in order for you to be an entrepreneur, you have to be full time. But it's
Yeah.
like there's room for people that like want to thrive and flourish in their job
Yeah.
and in their business. And I think that that's important when you first started full-time entrepreneurship for the first time and then went back to get a job. Like walk
Mhm.
us through that process. Like as far as like your mindset, like what made you feel like, okay, this is the right move for me to make right now?
Yes. So one of the things is it costs to be a realtor.
Mm.
And if you're not doing any deals, then where are you getting that money from?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got a car note. I don't have rent, but I have bills and I need this and I need that. And like, oh, my dues are up. Oh man, I need to do this. Oh my gosh, I need to get my hair done. Like all the things. And so I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? If this does not hit, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so I transitioned into HR, started as an admin and ended as an HR manager
Wow.
by the time I quit from the company. But it was just like, what am I going to do if this doesn't work? And some people say, bet on yourself and do all that. And I think that's great. But I think you also have to use wisdom to understand what industry you're in.
Yeah.
So
No,
that was
that's
my
so
mindset
good.
then. And then this is my mindset now as well as I'm transitioning. Real estate is great. I know how to do it. I can do it well. But what's next?
Yeah. No, that's really good. I think that I'm kind of finding myself in this place as well. I'm thinking about like years to go. Like what
Mhm.
does that look like? Do I see myself doing this when I'm 40 and 50 years old? I think that what a lot of people need to realize is that just because of where you are, it's not going to be where you land. And
Yeah.
typically, you learn skill sets to get you where you absolutely need to be. Because I think
Mhm.
about when I was talking to God, I'm like, God, why would you tell me to start this marketing business if you were just going to tell me to go start a stationery business? And he's like, it's
Mhm.
all a part of the journey. Like, you have
Yes.
to understand how to market a business. You have to learn how to operate a business. You have to learn how to have a profitable business. You have to
Yes.
learn how to manage your money because when you go from a service base to a product base, most of the money you have to have upfront, but you also have to be able to
Yep.
budget it. Now, silly me, at the beginning, I'm just very so naive. I'm like, it just seems like I wasted my time, wasted my money, wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have been building this a long time ago, but he's just like, pipe down, sis. Like,
Right.
all a
Like
part
learn
of the
what I'm
journey.
teaching you.
Yes, it's all a part of the journey. So I totally get it. God is going to take you through this scenic route. For some people,
Yeah.
it may seem just very, very straight, but for some people, you go through a scenic route, and that's
Yeah.
okay because wherever you land is where you're supposed to be.
All things like work together. So it's just like I can see, like I was talking to an attorney this week and he's also a realtor. And we
Mm,
were just saying how the transferable skills in real estate and like for me, I'm like, that was a no-brainer. Like it's the same
yeah.
thing. Like if I have my solo firm, I gotta go get clients. I gotta run a CRM. I gotta do this. All the things that I do, I gotta talk to clients. I gotta talk to this. All the things that I do, like I already do. And and
Mm-hmm.
and it's like so where my peers may be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know. Like what am I going to do when I finish?" They don't go into like corporate law or like a more streamlined or standardized law firm. I already know how to do that cuz I already run a real estate business.
Yeah.
I know how to go out in a different skill set or different knowledge base, but still the same soft skills of meeting people, networking, having a system, following up, doing really the follow up. There's so much money in follow up.
Yeah.
It's like I know that.
Yeah. You would have missed all of that if you just went from A to C without the
I
B.
just I'm gonna graduate school. I'm gonna go to law school.
Yeah.
I don't think mentally I wouldn't even been where I'm at.
So I want to talk about you and what it looks like building your real estate business because now you have your team that helps you out. What steps did you have to take in order for you to get to a place where now you can have a team to help you get things done while you focus on going to school?
A really great question. And it's one of the things was documenting my processes and understanding what I'm doing. So like
Mhm.
SOPs and
Yeah.
all of that. So in the beginning, as a solo realtor, you can do whatever. You know where your emails at, you know their process, you know how to text people, you know how to do that. But as you're building and saying, okay, I want to streamline this process so someone can come in and follow the same way or provide the same experience
Yeah.
that I'm giving. So one of the biggest things was documenting my process, like what am I doing? How did I start? So if a majority of my business came from this person or majority of my business came when I went to this event, I'm now able to put in a process to say, I'm going to go to this event every other month, or I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to be texting this person every other month to say, hey, how are you doing? Staying top of mind.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing for me was just understanding my process and how to make it a streamlined and standardized process.
Yes.
I have to hire people. I have to hire someone to say, hey, this is what I want to do. And this is their expertise. And they say, okay, well, let's talk about it. So the girl, Jennifer, her business is, I think, day-to-day assist. She just helped me really dump my brain, figure out what I wanted to do. I said, well, this is how I do it. And she took everything that I had, created my SOPs, created my CRM, created like some of the things, like we can't create our contracts, but like some of the things that some of the processes to lead my team on where they're going. So I would say it was taking the time to understand the experience you want to provide, and then writing it down and planning it out so that someone can pick it up and do the same thing with limited oversight.
Yeah, I love that. People just think like, if I post on social media, people are just going to be flooding at my door with business and wanting to pay me. Now, for some people, that could be true. However, when you first are starting out, it is key for you to have a sustainable way of getting clients for those days. So one of the things that I like to do is if I know that like my lead gen from like my organic traffic or from my mailing list is low, like I have no problem going out and doing client outreach. I will pitch until I'm blue in the face, okay? When you are determined to hit a goal and when you're determined to get clients, you have to kind of switch it up on how you do it. Like maybe one month I may not have to do any cold calls or any cold pitches because people are finding me organically or people that are in my mailing list are converting. But also, whenever those months do come where it's quiet, like putting yourself out there and going to get those clients, whether that's you appearing on podcasts or going to networking events or whatever it takes, And so
or
I think that's a part.
Messages. Like, I know I haven't served everybody in my phone book.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
Do you know anyone that's thinking about buying or leasing or selling their home? Or even past clients, like how's everything going? Do you know? And it'll organically come up. Like in my conversations, it'll organically coming up. How I'm saying it's not too organic.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can just be direct because don't nobody got time. Hey, do you know anyone that's looking to buy, sell? The best gift you can ever give me is a referral.
Absolutely. No, I 1,000% agree with you. I think that was one thing that I wasn't prepared for in my first year entrepreneurship. I just kind of was like, I'm just going to post and wait for people to come. And it's like crickets. Like, so what do you do? Like, what do you do when it's crickets? You got to get your hands dirty and get in there and figure out some ways to get these clients so we can get these coins.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's a rest season, depending on like where you are in your first 2 years. Like you could have went hard and just didn't have as much success as you wanted. And it's time to reset. It's time to pull back and say, well, what's working, what's not working? And then also like, do I want to do this?
Yeah.
Because it depends on when you started and how you started. Because sometimes like, I tried to get into that digital space or e-commerce space so many times. It never worked. So it's like, well, what are you doing? Sometimes it's not what you're supposed to be doing. Like it's not your lane.
That's true. Yeah. I had an ebook that I launched and it flopped. Well, I wouldn't say it flopped. Let me not say that. It did not flop, but my family and my friends bought it. Nobody knows what they're doing when they first start out, It's a lot of trial and error. Like when I first started my business, I was doing social media management. And then I realized I absolutely hated it. So I pivoted. I pivoted several times, okay?
Yes, the power is to pivot.
Yeah. And every single time, I kid you not, every single time that I pivot, like it's like I got stronger and clearer on my messaging, my offer, understanding what people need, understanding what people want, but also understanding what I'm good at. Because there's power in the overlap. We all want to come up with these offers that we feel like people will benefit from, but if they're not showing you that this is what they need, then it most likely is probably not where you need to land.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with pivoting several times. I feel like last year was the year of pivot. I was pivoting like every 2 months.
Me too.
Like,
and I think that when you're in a client-facing business, you cannot serve everyone. Like I'm in a space in my business where it's like, I will not accept every client. I can't accept every client because one of my biggest principles with working with people buying a house is like, I need you to know that you want to work with me. I want you to work with me because whatever, like, because Because then I know that you trust me. Then I know that I can advise you, and you're not going to be trying to circumvent some systems that I have because for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so that is really showing me like you can't accept every client, and that's okay. And where you might think that some people are fearful, like, well, what if I don't make the money? I just will say that's not the case, because you might, when you know who your audience is, you would target more of those people and they might be at a higher price point.
Yeah.
Might increase the volume. So the numbers will work themselves out, but that mental, and I say anguish, and that's a strong word, but that mental anguish of working with people who you're not supposed to be working with will make you quit.
Yeah.
Like, feel like you want to quit what you're called to do.
Yes, 1,000%. That's the best part about being your own boss. You can decide who you want to work with. You don't have to say yes to everybody, because sometimes people's vibes and energies, I don't really like to use energy, spirit. Sometimes that it just don't be in line. When you have that heaviness, like it clutters your mind, and it doesn't allow you to actually be able to fully execute your gifts. And so, yeah, you can be selective, just like other people are selected. You can be selective of who you want to work with. I want to switch gears a little bit, because I know that you have your community, Bloom. And I think that is so amazing. I was so excited to hop in the group chat, in the group meet. I'm like, oh, it's lit in here. It's just so positive. Everybody is like, touching in accountabilities. Like, what are y'all doing today? Okay, I did this. I knocked this off my checklist. I'm like, you go. So I love it.
Thank you. So this is so funny. I'm a shoot my shot type of girl. So me and the girl who started it, we know each other from U of H, but we never met each other. Mm-hmm. And so we would see each other on Instagram, and I slid in her DMs, and I was like, hey, like, I think we should hang out. Like, I think I like you. And she was like, yeah, I think I like you too. And so we...
That's the perfect way of making friends as an adult. There you go. Literally.
Why it started, because she has a healthy line of women friends. I have a healthy line of women friends. And so we were like, we meet so many adult women. Like, even I have a sister who's 25, and she's like, it's so hard to make friends as an adult. And I'm like, it's really, like, it is, but it isn't. But I have a different personality.
Yeah.
So we just said, well, let's start it. Like, let's just shoot it out and start it and see what happens. And so we started it, and we got really positive feedback. So we just said, let's create a safe space where women can let their hair down. We don't have to lead with our profession or what we do, but more so like, how can we serve one another? How can we talk to one another? How can we just be like all the things that we are, vulnerable? Sometimes we're ugly people, like, all the things. And then have someone walk with us. It's like discipleship is really the word, but it's not, we don't say discipleship, but like really walk with a sister or somebody to the other side of whatever they're going through. Just creating the space for people to get together. And so our goal is just to cultivate the space.
Yeah.
But everyone ideally will mingle and mix and get outside the group chat and text each other and call each other and do all those things.
Yes, I love it. And I feel like it's so important to have a community of people that have the same like-minded values, especially when you are an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is definitely one of the loneliest journeys. And if you have friends and families that are entrepreneurs, like, kudos to you. But a lot of us, like, we don't. And so it's like to have people in your circle that have the same values as you, but also get it and understand the struggles and the challenges. Like, it's just so good, because then it helps you to, feel motivated to keep going. But then also have people that check in and hold you accountable. So I love it. I love it. I think one of the questions I feel like a lot of people are wanting to know is, how do you manage your time? How do you set boundaries? How do you balance work, your personal life? You have a husband. How do you do it all?
Girl, that husband thing, that's a whole marriage as a whole.
Okay.
Hey, baby, that's something serious. So it's a number of things. Last year, I was at like a vision board party or like something at the beginning of the year. And we did a book exchange, and the book exchange I got was like setting boundaries. I was like, I don't need to set no boundaries. I know that. Last year showed me boundaries and how to set boundaries, and it is my word for this year.
Whoa.
Namely, that I just didn't even know. I'm so prideful. I was so prideful. Oh, Jesus. But one is understanding boundaries and what they look like. Because going back to, I can't accept every client. Like, I am very generous and I would overextend myself a lot.
Come on.
And my husband be like, why did you do that?
Come on.
Just fix it. Like, but in my devotional a couple days ago, it was saying setting boundaries, mornings with the Holy Spirit, and say, please pray to me before you decide to overextend yourself, because you're going to burn yourself out and it wasn't even our will.
Ooh.
And so it's a constant confirmation for me these days of just understanding, like, although I can do it, or although I may want to do it, it may not be my place to do it. And so understanding and discerning, one, what is that? And that's in all aspects of life. It's just understanding, like, when it's the will of God, there'll be a grace to do it. And when it's not the will of God, it might bring some anguish. So that's one. Two is, I created a productivity tool, which I created 2 or 3 years ago because I was doing so much. And I was like, I need to like map my thoughts out, because my brain is like overloaded. So I created this template called the Power Hour, and I take an hour and I just dump everything project by project. And then when I'm done with it, I know exactly what my next action items are. So that helps me, like, okay, this is what I need to do to remove that overwhelm. And then 2, 3, I don't know what number I'm on. But I also just don't do nothing. Like, sometimes it's just like, take a step back, like you're doing too much.
Yeah.
If I've had to do stuff every day, I didn't have to commute to school. Me and my husband got to do a date night. I got all the things. Like, it's like you sit down.
Yeah.
Just sit down and say no. I'm a social butterfly. I love being outside. And in law school, my schedule didn't permit that with the studying and all of that. So that has helped me be able to say, like, oh no, I cannot do this. Like, these are my opening. These are my open weekends. Yeah. That's all I got, And one thing I was thinking yesterday is, like, you can set a schedule, but if you don't stick to it, what's the point? So that's what I've been trying to work on. It's like, if I set these boundaries, then I need to enforce them for myself.
Yeah. That's good. That is something that I'm currently actively working on. I like to set themes for my days, so I'm not doing 80 billion things on days. I have like high brain activity days and low brain activity days. And then, of course, the Sabbath day, which my Sabbath is on Sundays. But I think, like, even breaking my days down in themes has helped me out tremendously. On Mondays, sis, I am not scheduling a meeting. That is a low.
Monday,
scheduling meetings on Mondays that are not required, that should be a sin.
And you have to know what works well for you. So, like, Mondays and Fridays, I try not to be customer facing. And then time blocking. Like, for me, I might be sending emails early in the morning, because that's when I can shoot them off. I don't have distractions and nobody's looking for me and so on. And then I might respond. Like, if I respond in 24 hours the next day in the morning, it's appropriate. Yeah. Versus I might have sent it at night. The person didn't respond to the midday, and now I haven't responded until 2 days from now.
I have one more question, our last question, and I think that a lot of people would be so willing to know what your standpoint is. And that is, looking back on your journey, is there anything that you would do differently? And if so, what is one thing that you would change, or that you would want the listeners to take away from your journey?
I would say you cannot be successful and be prideful. Like, one of the things, like I said, I asked my mom for my HAR dues, or my dues, or I asked for help. Like, we will not thrive in entrepreneurship if we don't ask for help. Like, I never present myself. If I meet another realtor, I'm never presenting myself like I have it together. I'm saying, man, my clients are really tough this year. Like, what are you doing? How do you vet your clients? What are you, like, I'm always asking for help, and I give unsolicited advice all the time. Right? Because I don't know if y'all gonna ask tonight, but if you telling me something, I'm like, well, have you thought about this? Because it sounds like something not right. Yeah. I'm looking back, I don't think that I would do anything much differently. I think that this is with the obedient thing of, if the Lord told me to do it, when I first would have done it, I probably would have asked for more help my first year. I probably would have been more involved and thrown myself into real estate, because one thing I'm learning, like, hindsight, is if the Lord tells you to do something, you will not fail. And so, like, it's like, I don't know if I can't remember. Maybe I was fearful. I just was unsure I would ask for help more in that space, and I would go throw myself in the industry, go to events, go to the brokerage offices, do all the things. And for me, I know the Lord told me to do it.
Yeah.
So I would have just really stepped out on just understanding what that means to live by faith, to step out by faith, and like asking him for help. And this is me maturing in my faith. So now I can say that, but then I wouldn't have known because I wasn't deep in my faith.
Yeah.
Like I've always been a believer, but I wasn't like knowing the word like hidden in my heart. And I didn't know what it really meant to walk out and have faith. I think, well, or maybe my advice would be get in your word. Maybe my advice.
No, that's the word, because I feel like you're right. I feel like when I became an entrepreneur, it definitely pushed me to be more intentional about devoting daily and making sure that I'm literally hiding the word in my heart.
Yeah.
Whether that is you memorizing your scriptures, having it on, your power scriptures that you can always refer back to. You have a scripture that you go to when you aren't feeling as strong, when you're not feeling as courageous, when you're not able to persevere, because entrepreneurship is such a spiritual thing, because it's a faith move, but also it is very emotional and intimate with God, because it's you putting yourself in the wilderness and literally trusting God to lead you the way. Because most of the time when I hear a lot of people's stories, like it's like some random idea, and it's not random, but it came from the spirit, but it's like most of them have no recollect on how to even do.
Where did it come from?
Yeah. And so it's like you literally have to trust God, because this is something that you don't know anything about. And so it's like you might as well. You just might as well have faith.
And I think too, like when you know that this is what he called you to be, like his word will never be void, or will never fall void. So it's like understanding that now, I would have done differently. Because I got a job because I was scared.
Yeah.
And thankfully that job blessed me tremendously. But that's like I got a job because I was scared. Like I was like, I can't do this. I didn't even believe in myself. So it's like understanding the identity of you in Christ, and then understanding like why he has you on this journey, and walking with him and talking with him,
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited. I'm so proud of you. I feel like you have offered so much wisdom, so much advice on how to even pivot, but even also how to go after your dreams and how to be able to make it more manageable. I want you to tell us where we can follow you, where can we get this resource, where can the people connect with you?
So follow me on Instagram, Real Estate Chelsea. The Time Toolkit is thetimetoolkit.com. Right now, all of the templates are at no cost, so you can download them and try them. You can DM me, and it's the most convenient way. And then ask me out to coffee, and we can go hang out. We can
go to coffee. I'm always down to drink coffee.
Yes, me too.
Chelsea drinks black coffee, so
I do. I love coffee. Like
judging you, but we are judging you.
I'll splash some creamer in there. Some holiday creamer.
I am screaming. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Side Hustler Podcast. I hope you're leaving here today feeling inspired and ready to take your next step. If you love this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another side hustler who needs to hear it. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Carly Dorlin. I'd love to hear about your side hustling journey. Remember, you're doing better than you think, and your dreams are so worth it. Until next time, keep hustling, sis. You got this.